Hey YouTube, what's up? So, this is a video about Peyton Manning again. Now, let's get to discussion. This was the 1998 NFL Draft, a look back at the epic Ryan Leaf burst radio report, the New York Times. And it's about Peyton Manning also. April 18th, 1989.
Ryan Leaf, two can't-miss rookie quarterbacks. Both have potential to be stars for a long, long time. Two franchises.
Listen to
two
this.
can't-miss. Ryan Leaf, two can't-miss rookie quarterbacks. Both have potential to be stars for a long, long time. Two franchises' futures in limbo. We have to get this pick right.
We have to go out and get a different quarterback.
Both of them bring a lot of assets to this table.
50% said Manning, 50% said Leaf.
Every field has its own method of evaluating human talent.
The Indianapolis Colts select.
But after the 1998 NFL Draft produced one of the greatest busts in history, what have we learned about the science of picking a winner?
The Ryan Leaf, Peyton Manning decision sometimes cast a long shadow to 2014 and beyond.
So here's the Redo report presented by the New York Times.
Thank you for being here. Welcome to the National Football League's 1998 player draft.
The right quarterback can change a football team's fortune. In the NFL college draft, where the teams with the worst records get the highest picks, the prospect
So the top,
fortune. In the NFL college draft, where the teams with the worst records get the high.
because it looks like on the list you get
To the National Football League's 1998 player draft.
The right quarterback can change a football team's fortune. In the NFL college draft, where the teams with the
it's like
worst record.
number 1 was Indianapolis, number 2 was San Diego, so it was like the Indianapolis Colts, the San Diego Chargers, the Arizona Cardinals, the Oakland Raiders, and the list goes on and on. I can't see them all, but other teams that are on there are the Chicago Bears, the St. Louis Rams, the Baltimore Ravens, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Atlanta Falcons, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Carolina Panthers, the Seattle Seahawks, Tennessee Titans, and Cincinnati Bengals. But they don't show the whole team. But Peyton Manning, I think, was offered to the Seahawks one year when I heard he was offered to Seattle later, but Russell Wilson went there. But Seattle has improved when they got Russell Wilson, since they got Russell Wilson.
Get the highest picks. The prospect of turning around a franchise with one top player is tantalizing.
We needed a quarterback, and we had an opportunity to really pick something special. Whether it was Ryan.
This is Steve Champlin who's talking. He was the director of player development of the Indianapolis Colts from 1998 to 2012.
Leaf or Peyton Manning.
These are both very good athletes. They're both very big, young.
Peyton Manning played in the University of Tennessee, and Ryan Leaf played for WSU, Wazoo, Washington State University.
Football players.
The scouts were split 50-50. Those that supported Manning were intellectually convinced. Those that supported Leaf were
This is Bill Polian, the president of the Indianapolis Colts from 1997 to 2012.
emotionally convinced. Their argument,
Right here.
those that supported Leaf, those that supported Manning were intellectually convinced.
Well, Peyton Manning was a really smart player and really smart in school.
Those that supported Leaf were emotionally convinced. Their argument was great athlete, much better athlete than Peyton Manning.
By 1998, picking NFL prospects had evolved from old-time scouting to more hands-on evaluations.
It's a far cry from the old NFL days when training was haphazard and college players typically didn't train at all before the draft.
Both Manning and Leaf went through a gamut of physical tests the league had developed over the years. They also took a Wonderlic aptitude test. a 12-minute quiz used since the 1970s to gauge a player's intelligence.
Manning got a higher score than Leaf on that 1-by-1.
Manning and Leaf's reported scores were nearly identical.
Peyton Manning's was 28, Ryan Leaf's was 27.
The selection process is about 40% science, 55% investigation, and then ultimately about 5% gut, especially when it's between two very good players at the top of the draft.
Steve Champlin was tasked with digging into the backgrounds of the two leading candidates for the job to try to determine the more elusive part of the selection process.
You talk to the public safety officials on campus, you talk to the head trainers, you talk to the position coaches from a character standpoint, not a football standpoint.
Hey, who's your favorite football player?
My dad.
You know, that was Peyton at a young age who said this.
From a character standpoint, not a football standpoint.
Hey, who's your favorite football player?
My dad.
Now, if you say my dad, he was the son of Archie Manning, so he probably sat through some stuff with his dad. Listen to this.
Peyton was the son of Archie Manning, a Pro Bowl quarterback who had a 13-year career in the NFL.
Think about how many meetings that Peyton Manning has sat in with his father. He's listened to the best and the brightest in football.
Ryan Leaf, meanwhile, was a blue chip in the NFL.
The one who said that.
How many meetings that Peyton Manning has sat
The one who says this
in with his father. He's listened to the best.
was the head coach of the University of Tennessee from 1992 to 2008. So he was Peyton Manning's coach. He was Peyton Manning's coach back when Peyton Manning went to the University of Tennessee, and Peyton Manning was actually a really great quarterback. And he still is now. And he has struggled this year, but still, he was able to bring them. He still was able to throw a few touchdowns, and he did do good against. And his defense was really good, but still, he went to the Super Bowl and won a second one. Excuse me. Even winning one Super Bowl is good. Not every quarterback goes to a Super Bowl. Cannot expect every quarterback to win a Super Bowl. It'd be too easy.
The brightest in football.
Ryan Leaf, meanwhile, was a blue chip prospect from Great Falls, Montana, who...
And speaking of that, I would love to point something out that Peyton Manning's from New Orleans, Louisiana. And Ryan Leaf is from Montana.
led Washington State University to its
father. He's listened to the best and the brightest in football.
Right here.
Ryan Leaf, meanwhile, was a blue chip prospect from Great Falls, Montana,
Sorry about rewinding all the time.
who led Washington State University to its first Rose Bowl in 67 years.
That's the Cougars, not the Huskies.
He stands flat-footed and throw a ball 80 yards. 6'5", 235 pounds back then.
Champlin and the Colts drilled deeper into researching the two prospects, including evaluations with a psychologist. Soon, a clear favorite began to emerge.
With Peyton, you knew what you had. He was very forthright, and he had convictions. Where Ryan was a little more of an enigma.
Still, just days before the draft, Champlin recalls a scramble for more information.
Bill Pauly came into my office and he said, "We need a touch tape on every pass that Peyton threw and Ryan threw in their college career." I thought their one pick was pretty much, in the bag. I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be a long couple days.
Pulling up first to the Colts. Will be Ryan Leaf. With the first pick of the draft, the Indianapolis Colts select quarterback, University of Tennessee, Peyton Manning.
Bill goes, "Ryan's got a stronger arm than Peyton. But Peyton Manning is the quarterback."
Peyton Manning was with the Colts for a while, so they chose him instead of Ryan Leaf. Yeah.
With the second choice in the draft,
With the first pick settled, There was no question that the San Diego Chargers would take Leaf.
Ryan Leaf.
The struggling franchise had traded up just 5 weeks before draft day to ensure they would get one of the top-rated quarterbacks.
So it says right here.
Leaf.
Ryan Leaf.
It says
The
right
struggling
here.
franchise had
Chargers move up with four 1 deal.
traded up just 5 weeks before draft day to ensure they would
And it says Leaf for Manning.
get one of the top-rated quarterbacks.
We were excited about either one. That was the
This one is Kevin Gilbride, who is the head coach of the San Diego Chargers from 1997 to 1998.
beauty of it. We didn't think we could lose.
It all started well for Ryan Leaf. He had a good training camp.
This is Ryan's agent. I can't pronounce his name. It was Ryan Leaf's agent from 1998 to 2001.
He won his first couple games.
There was certainly some.
Like right here.
It all started well for Ryan Leaf. He had a good
That's always good when it goes well for you.
training camp, and he won his first couple games.
There was certainly some aspects or holes in his game, but we really saw that we had a special player in terms of physical skills.
The expectations for Leaf were sky high. He may have been picked second, but his contract included the then largest signing bonus for a rookie in NFL history, only adding to the enormous pressure on head coach Kevin Gilbride to turn the Chargers around.
He got offered
The then largest signing bonus for a rookie in NFL history, only adding
11.25 million.
the enormous pressure on head coach Kevin Gilbride to turn the Chargers around. That intense scrutiny came to a head after San Diego's third game of the season against the Kansas City Chiefs.
36-yard line. Called by Ryan Leaf.
We played a horrific game. The one guy who played as poorly as you could play was Ryan Leaf.
You don't talk to me, all right? Knock it off!
He was caught on camera in the locker room yelling at a reporter.
That's it.
misdirected my anger after
That was Ryan's agent who said that, and now Ryan's talking in this video right here.
He was caught on camera.
Right here.
Ryan Leaf.
You don't talk to me, all right? Knock it off!
He was caught on camera in the locker room yelling at a reporter.
I misdirected my anger after the Kansas City game. I was extremely disappointed in my performance, and I let it show.
He was a little bit overwhelmed by all the attention, by all the money, by the expectations that we all had for him.
Sorry if that sounded kind of rehearsed.
In the rush before the draft, the Chargers had dismissed some warning signs about Ryan Leaf.
That's not a good thing. Do not dismiss warning signs.
Including a test that
It says brain doctor predicted Leaf would be falling or failing. Falling, I think. Falling, failing?
classified players by personality type and found his was ill-suited to be an NFL quarterback.
Oof, that's not a good thing.
He was arrogant, and I think that rubbed kids the wrong way.
That's Jack Johnson.
He was arrogant, and I think that rubbed.
That is the head coach of the CM Russell High, 1973 to 2013. That's not good to be arrogant. That means that and it's never good to be something good. And if you're arrogant, it means that you're having a revealing or exaggerated sense of one's own importance or abilities. And you think, sometimes I also heard arrogant means that that you think you're better than everyone else.
Kids the wrong way. This would be Ryan's junior year.
Tall, gangly, skinny-necked kid.
I think he got one vote for a team captain.
As a quarterback, he's probably the best quarterback I've ever played with. As a person, I think he struggled with just being himself.
That's his player, his teammate.
times. We had heard all those things, but nothing to the degree that you said that you couldn't control and overcome those things.
That's Kevin Gilbride, and I kind of feel bad for Kevin Gilbride. Listen to this.
3 games after the Kansas City debacle, the Chargers fired Gilbride. And Leafs play continued its downward spiral. In his 3 seasons with San Diego, Leaf won just 4 games before being released. And after short stints with 3 other teams,
He tried out for the Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then he tried out for the Dallas Cowboys and the Seattle Seahawks.
he retired from football.
Listen to
Just
this.
4 games before being released. And after short stints with 3 other teams, he retired from football.
What would you describe as the low point, Ryan?
Probably the fact that when the 4 years was up, I was willing to walk away from it.
The story of Peyton Manning and the Colts is just the opposite.
You got... So I have one. You have Peyton Manning, and you have Ryan Leaf. Peyton is the one who had success. Some success in college. Ryan, I think, had more success in college. Peyton Manning threw 89 touchdowns, which is not bad. But Ryan Leaf is not. But for the other one, Peyton Manning's thrown over 530 touchdowns. Now, that's something in the NFL. Ryan failed. Peyton Manning succeeded in the NFL.
15 stellar seasons as one of the top quarterbacks of all time. 5 most valuable player awards.
He's like in the top 3. But there is something I want to say. Someone was claiming to me, someone I work with, said Eli Manning's a better quarterback than Peyton Manning because he won 2 Super Bowls. Now Peyton Manning has 2 Super Bowls, but even though that he had 1, he was still the better quarterback. Eli Manning isn't registered in the top 10. Peyton Manning is. Peyton Manning's on the ranks, he's the 3rd greatest quarterback who ever lived. They said number 1 is Tom Brady, but I don't believe that. In my opinion, Peyton Manning is the greatest quarterback who ever lived. He's been to 3 Super Bowls. True, he hasn't won them all. He's won 2. Or actually, he's been to 4 Super Bowls. He won 1, lost 1, lost the other one, then won the other one. See, I would have liked it if he would have won. I was rooting against him once because I want Seattle to have their Super Bowl, but I like Peyton Manning more than I like Russell Wilson, even though Russell's in my top 5. He's my 3rd. Peyton Manning's my number 1. I wish he would have won 3. Because with 3 Super Bowls it would be really nice. But here we go.
The story of Peyton Manning and the Colts is just the opposite. 15 stellar
Sorry I
seasons
keep on
as
rewinding, but I do that so it doesn't cut part way into the sentence you were just listening to.
the top quarterbacks of all time. 5 most valuable player awards, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 1 championship, and an impact on the city of Indianapolis that includes a new football stadium built on his success and a children's hospital that bears his name.
It says Peyton Manning Children's Hospital.
Success and a children's hospital that bears his name.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we predicted that he would reach the heights that he did.
And it says, thank you, Peyton.
Far from it.
As Manning's rise continued on the field, Leaf struggled to adjust to life after the NFL. In 2010, 2 months after Manning made his 2nd Super Bowl appearance, Leaf pleaded guilty to 8 felony drug charges after stealing prescription drugs from a player while coaching in Texas.
Here's what happened. Peyton Manning, his first Super Bowl was against the Bears. His 2nd Super Bowl was against... Come to think of it, I can't remember who his Oh yeah, it was against the Saints, and then the third one was against the Seattle Seahawks, and his fourth was against the Panthers. The Carolina Panthers. First it was Chicago Bears and the New Orleans Saints, and then the Seattle Seahawks, and then last but not least the Carolina Panthers.
Fellow former quarterback Ryan Leaf has been arrested.
And in 2012, he was sentenced to up to 7 years in prison after pleading guilty to felony burglary for breaking into a Montana home in search of pain medication.
Something I should say is, why didn't Ryan Leaf just buy that instead of breaking into someone's house?
Embarrassed situation not only for myself,
He's embarrassed.
especially for my family.
It's very sad to see someone who was extraordinarily physically gifted, had achieved financial security, was in an ideal location, and
His agent is also an author. Author, the agent, or something.
due to inner demons, it didn't work out.
Right now, there isn't any pictures up with Ryan's. Definitely some things missing on the wall here without him up there, but when he went to prison, we decided just to take everything down.
Yeah, so they took it down when he went to jail.
What about that guy Ryan Leaf from Washington? He's got to be right up there. That is an insane story.
The extreme outcomes of the 1998 draft have made it a story that transcends sports.
Rick Perry is the worst presidential campaign flash candidate in American history. Rick Perry is Ryan Leaf.
In the movie Draft Day,
Do I take Callahan?
Kevin Costner stars as an NFL general manager wrestling with the pressure of the first pick.
I mean, that's the word, right? He's won everywhere he's been.
They said the same thing about Ryan Leaf. He was the number 2 pick in '98.
The Manning-Leaf draft was a huge part of our research. What is certain and what is not is kind of the basis of why people love sports.
This is the draft analysis we've all been working on for the last 2 months.
Well, I think that plays out every day. You know, a lawyer goes to the right schools, gets high grades, excels in every academic sort of sense. But you put him in front of a jury, you don't know what is going to happen, if they're going to excel, you know, when the bright lights are on.
Cognitive skills, psychological attributes, motivation. You got to capture what does it take to succeed.
Cyrus Mary has built a career trying to quantify those intangibles. What makes someone good in front of a jury, or effective managing salesmen? After years of advising corporations on how to identify and hire diverse talent, he recently turned to the NFL.
The best players are not necessarily the fastest players or the strongest players.
With input from NFL general managers and research psychologists, Mary developed a 120-question test to assess the mental makeup of football prospects. The goal is to find patterns that correlate with performance on the field.
We just think that we're beginning to crack the code about these intangibles that all these scouts have been trying so hard to get over the years. Now we have some more hard science that will...
I think that year of 1998 didn't go too well for Peyton Manning. His first year with Indianapolis was not his best. He definitely had some struggles. But the next year he brought it. And he and Ryan Leaf embraced on the field, I think, once.
Is in the hands of the clubs when they make these selections.
Adopted in 2013, the player assessment test is just the latest attempt to quantify the elusive key to performance.
Cutting-edge technology will take us beyond the stats.
That quest for data-driven certainty has become its own cottage industry.
Got the quarterbacks in the draft lab today.
Entire sports shows and websites are now built around advanced analytics.
He's so overwhelming a physical specimen.
Even old school evaluations at the NFL Combine measuring vertical leaps, broad jumps, and 40-yard dashes, have been built into a media event.
Perhaps a #1 overall pick here.
With the NFL Network broadcasting 60 hours of programming in real time. So 16 years after the Manning Leaf draft, have teams gotten better at judging the latest college talent? While it's a subject of statistical debate, a recent analysis by economist David Berry found that there is some evidence that teams have gotten slightly better at predicting a quarterback's early success. But he also found at least 88% of the time, where in the draft a quarterback is picked didn't correlate with better performance per play in the NFL.
Jamarcus Russell, has he now overtaken Leaf as the biggest draft bust in NFL history?
When you're spending millions and millions of dollars, there really is so many components to it that make up that player. And even then you might not know.
Who's the wild card of the first round? I think Johnny Manziel's the wild card.
Is it going to be a Peyton Manning or is it going to be a Ryan Leaf?
It's an art as much as it is a science. We're humans, we make mistakes, and sometimes we get it right.
That is true. I'm back here.
The right quarterback can change
Those that
Manning and
players at the
He's listening to them.
years.
You stand flat-footed and throw a ball 80 yards.
It was Jason Megendu, Ryan Leaf's college teammate, 1994 through 1997. But yeah, again, I'm going to make another video for Peyton Manning, just not right now because it's getting kind of late and I got to get ready for some stuff I got to do tomorrow. So anyway, stay up to date and subscribe. Bye-bye. Peace out. Love you, Peyton. Love you. You're my idol in football. Bye. Peace out.